How to with Natty Lou.
Hello, and welcome to today's episode of How To with Natty Lou. Today I'm going to show you how I made these gloves for my Batman the Merciless cosplay. Alright, here's my reference picture, taken from, again, a Sideshow advertisement on my Instagram. So that's what I was going for. I didn't have too much angles to go off of, so I had to kind of make up a lot of it as I went. But I think they turned out pretty cool, and here's how I did it. Okay, I can't turn it off. I can't turn it off! Ah! So first I started by marking, which is hard to see on this black, my knuckles. When I had my hand in there, I kind of marked generally where my knuckles were so I would know how to make a pattern for this. And then that's what I did. I just made a paper pattern like so that would show where I needed to cut my foam. And then I did cut my foam, one for each hand, one for each fingertip, and then those are the knuckles. Okay, now it's gonna be time to start heat forming these guys. Alright, so I got these formed a bit. They're gonna have to be kind of reformed as I put them onto the gloves. So I didn't bother to work too hard on them because I'll have to keep on shaping them. But at least they've got a basic shape that I like. Now I'm going to do the knuckle pieces. And a tip for doing that is I've got a piece of tape here. Because if I just use the heat gun on these, they're going to blow all over the place. So I'm just going to stick these down onto my tape. And I'll kind of do them in shifts here. Hopefully they won't get too stuck to the tape when I heat them up. Just give them a little dimension. See, looks better than just flat, guys. Alright, for this next bit, I'm going to use my respirator, because I'm going to be using my contact cement and heating it up, which I'm pretty sure is going to kill some brain cells, so better to be safe. There's not many left. So what I'm going to do is put some contact cement on either edge of these, and then heat them up a little bit, and bloop, fuse them together like this, and then I'll be able to kind of stretch it out and shape it as I go once I've got that good seal on there. Okay, that's what I'm doing. Now to do this 9 more times. Yay! Alright, I'll be right there. Alright, so I got all of my guys done for my fingertips. But I wanted to point out that for this project I am using this foam, which is technically advertised as EVA foam, but it's actually like a more open cell foam than traditional EVA. You can see it's a little bit rougher looking. Let's see if and there's more air holes inside of it. This is a traditional EVA, about the same thickness. See how that's much more closed up. And this one is more open, which I've read a lot of people who don't like using this for cosplay. And if you thought you were getting one and got this, I can see how you'd be disappointed. I accidentally bought this for my first foam smithing I ever did. And I actually ended up, it was really a good thing to start with because it molds a lot easier than the thicker EVA foam. And you can do some cool techniques with it. You can get it a lot more rounded just by smushing it when it's hot than you can with regular foam. So, I don't know, it's good for certain applications, like if you have to do rounded things, it works really well. However, the downside is that it is not quite as sturdy when it's fully hardened and not hot anymore. So, probably what I will do is seal these guys with quick seal when I'm all done. Not just the seams, but put a coating around the whole outside of them once they're on the gloves. And then I can just Plastidip spray them and paint them however I want. The Plastidip does help make them sturdier if you want to skip this step, if it's not something that's going to be real high touchness. But since these are fingertips and I figure they're probably going to get abused a little bit, I'm just going to make them a little extra sturdy. Alright, now that I have all my fingertips formed and my knuckles, I kind of laid them out in order in shapes that kind of matched each other. And I've got my hand pieces here. So now I'm going to use my heat gun and my contact cement to start gluing these onto the gloves. And I hope that that works. I know the glue works to glue foam to foam. We'll hope it works to glue foam to fabric. We shall see. All those pieces seem to be sticking on there. I'm going to seal the fingertips now with some quick seal just to make them sturdier and get rid of any seams and whatnot. And then I will start the painting process. Alright, I put my quick seal on the fingertips and now it is time to spray with Plastidip. Alright, I will continue with that. Alright, so here is where I am at so far with these gloves. Alright, I have attached all the foam with contact cement. And then I sprayed it with 2 or 3 layers of Plastidip and to seal the foam. Oh, and before that I put the quick seal on the fingertips, remember? And then sprayed it with Plastidip, and then I sprayed it with a final coat of just black spray paint. And now what I'm going to do is start adding in all those details that you see in the reference picture. Now, the details on top of the black are a blue metallic, which I will paint over at on the very end with acrylic paint that I have. But black is a good base for that. But what I'm going to do to add the details is just fill it in with puffy paint. So I'm going to make lines in all of the right places and hopefully give it some dimension. Rather than trying to carve the foam or do strips of foam or anything, I figured that would be a nightmare. So I'm just going to try it with some puffy paint and see if that gives me the dimension that I want. Alright, so here is one completed with the puffy paint layer. Gonna let it dry before I try to move it because I don't want it to smudge everywhere. But yeah, I think that's going to add some cool dimension. Instead of just painting flat lines, it'll give it some depth. Cool. On to the next one. So my puffy paint layer here is dry. It shrunk down a little bit as it dried, but I think it gives enough dimension. If I tried to go over it again, I'd probably just mess it up. So I'm going to leave it silver instead of trying to paint it black, just so it has more definition. And now what I'm doing is going over with a silver paint to add some highlight to the black foam pieces. And then I will add my metallic blue once that dries, just to give it a little bit lighter base color so the blue stands out more and there's a bit more contrast. So that's where I'm at now. Alright, here is the finished product. I've got my lovely gloves. After I painted them with silver acrylic on top of the black, I went over it with my metallic blue acrylic, and I think it came out really cool. It's got this kind of iridescent-y tone. I can still move my hands because I didn't put any foam directly over any of the joints. So, yeah, there they are. I didn't bother to do anything on this side because I'd be holding my big sword and whatever, so it wasn't important. Plus, it would just rub off. But yay! All done. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of How To with Natty Lou. Check out my other videos if you haven't seen them already, and subscribe! I'd love to get some more viewers, and I'll hopefully keep doing some more of these little how-to videos. Thanks! Bye. Oh, great. Gotta turn it off again.